Hi guys, FANART here, and today I'm gonna show you how I reproduced this FANART, but with Cosplay and mine as Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter. First of all, big thanks to Mushbers, God, I hope I'm not butchering your name, for allowing me to share your FANART on my different social medias and here. Go check their work, it's stunning and they are an amazing artist. So basically, the first thing we've done with Kaz is that, with our pictures, we try to reproduce the poses of the FANART on a plain background so that I can then crop us to only have our cosplay after. This is a big edit, so yeah, I'm only keeping the cosplay, I have no interest in the background here, and as you can see, I'm spending a lot of time on the cropping of Will, and I'm adding some wild hair here to make it look more natural. And if you're wondering, I'm working here on Photoshop and a Wacom tablet, which means I can basically do a selection really quickly and literally draw on my pics. Once I've done the cropping of Hannibal too, I'm trying to watch and position him and Will where they are supposed to be, and I was not satisfied with where the eyes were looking, so I moved them to be a bit more accurate to the original FANART. At that point, I remember that I wasn't so sure that I would be able to reproduce it, so yeah, I just went with the flow and tried to tell myself, this is gonna go well! That wasn't easy. So next step was the skeletons. Well, more the skulls, but you see what I mean. I had collected some pictures before starting the edit, 90% of them were free of copyrights, and I tried to see how those could be used in the pic and how to position them as in the FANART again. Also had to put some cloak on them. You would think that it's easy to find free of copyrights picture of the Reaper, but no! So yeah, also looked for some cloaks and added them on the skulls. This was a long process cause I had to position every single skull, which also meant cropping each pic one by one, plus adding the cloak to each one. And because I'm a perfectionist, this also meant making each skull as big as in the original FANART and adding as much skulls as in there. In the end, I realized I missed one or two skulls, but I was too far in the edits to come back and add some. Too many layers. This would create an apocalypse. Now that I had the basis of the pic, I had to think of the lights. To be honest, having a reference for this is far easier than trying to create a whole pic or atmosphere from scratch. I started with the background and then stopped a bit in the process because I remembered that, well, not all of my skulls nor their cloak are the same color. I assure you, if I could, I would have kicked some of those skulls, especially the one on the right of Will. Its color was so annoying to make it accurate to the other ones. So I took care of the color of each skeleton and the light around them at the same time. Once the light on them was done, I quickly took care of the light on Hannibal and Will. Hannibal being a little more annoying since the light wasn't exactly how it was supposed to be when the picture was taken, but nothing too alarming. Now skeleton hands! Okay, these ones were torture to find free of copyrights. So I ended up using the two same hands for all of them. I just changed a bit their form to give the feeling that each hand was a single one. I also took care of their color and light at the moment I was working on them. I was not going to make the same mistake as with the skulls. You got me once, not twice. After positioning all of them, I then added the shadow of those hands on Will, and also reworked the light a bit, adding shadows at the base of each hand. I then moved on to the general light and shadows of the pic. But I had to come back to the skulls because when you force an image to change of light, sometimes the pixels will go wild and do those white spots that you can see me erasing right here. And you'll see me doing this again multiple times. I finally changed the general color of the pic. First of all to give unity to the whole thing, but again also to be closer to the FANART. But this also meant going back to the light of the whole pic. Yes, again. I think this is the most challenging part in a big edit. Keeping the light coherent between the original pic and the element you're adding to it. bad light can quickly be visible, so be careful where your light is coming from and try to keep it coming from that way. And if you have any doubt about how to put light or shadows on your pic, even if you know where it's coming from, go watch some tutorials on how to put shadows on a drawing. This helped me a lot understanding light and shadows, so don't hesitate. Back to the pic. As you can see, I added those little white spots that are basically the eyes of the skeletons, and when I'm telling you light is important, this will be what I'm going to take care of the most for the rest of the pic. I also wanted to have more space at the top of the pic, and here you can see me fighting with my layers trying to understand why this won't be the color that I want. Yes, that's what I meant when I said changing a thing far in the edit would have been an apocalypse. And now Antlers! This time not all of the pics were free of copyrights, but since I'm only taking the antlers, this is not a problem. Don't ever take more than 20% of a pic that's not free of copyrights when you're doing an edit. This could lead to big problems, even more if you want to make money with it. So back to cropping, light and everything to give the feeling that this antler is actually a part of the pic. Also, because I'm like that, I decided to put two different antlers, the same would have been too easy, and I felt like it would have felt unnatural. That's a lot of felt in the same sentence. You can now watch me not understanding where the two skulls in the background went. Literally, I just lost them at this point without understanding what I had done, and I still don't understand. I watched through all my layers and couldn't find any of them. So I had to do them again. You can imagine how happy I was. Once those two skulls were back, I checked again the light, and let me be a psychopath with the light on my edit, okay? So, not going for the same speech again, but I can tell you that at this moment, the light seemed atrocious to me. That's why I came back to it. I went again for a new color filter on the whole thing to bring back this redness that we have in the original picture, and change the background again. Editing a pic is just like repeating the same thing over and over until you achieve something that you like. For the things floating around Hannibal that are certainly antlers but more deformed, I just look for dead trees, morphed them to make it look even weirder, took care of the light and coloring, and then I started the drawing portion of the pic, which consisted on me creating the circle around Hannibal's head and adding the blood on the floating antlers. I used the same color for both of them, just not the same opacity. Quite satisfied with the pic, but still it was too orange, so I've put a green filter to bring back the greenish grey that we see in most art. Worked a bit on the eyes of Will to make it lighter and bluer. I put the streak of light in Hannibal's eyes, and I went back for last time on the skeletons to give them their final good shadow, and I made the background dustier, I think. Added some contrast, and here are the final results. This was a lot of fun to do, even though the skeletons drove me a bit crazy. But this was a really good exercise on how to manage my light in my edit. I know that I keep on repeating that, but most of the time when there's something I don't like in an edit, it's just that there's some light missing, so yep, I'll keep on insisting about this point my whole life. I'm really glad with the final results, and I think it ended up looking very accurate to the original material. Except for Will's shirt. We didn't have any orange shirt. I also was truly happy that Mushbuzz liked the result of this pic too. By the way, if you're watching this video, Mush, I hope you liked it too and that my pronunciation of your name is good. or this mean I kept on butchering it during the whole video, and I'm really sorry about that. Maybe I can save myself by saying that it was intentional because, you know, butchering, Hannibal. I'm stopping here. So, this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it and that it was a bit entertaining or even educative on some points. If you want to see the full pic, it's available on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm also gonna publish it on Twitter the same day I'm publishing this video. Or maybe the day after, because maybe I have some other pic to publish. Anyways, you can go check the picture in detail there. Thank you for listening to my blabbering, and see you next time!